Hello everybody, Reggie Time here, and today I just want to make a quick video discussing some of the various leaks that players I've seen have, players that have come to me have, that they wouldn't necessarily consider to be leaks. The last one is something that people will have considered quite a lot, but there's 4 before them that I want to talk about that people, they won't see as leaks, especially recreational players who are literally playing the game recreationally but trying to make some money. Before we get into all those, please just don't forget, if you're not a subscriber, to please subscribe to the channel. Please hit the like button if you like it. Please leave any comments below. Yeah, I'm also after 2 or 3 of the people that approached me the other day about getting coaching. Some of them haven't followed up on that, so I didn't quite make my quota on how many people I wanted to start coaching in December. So if you're still interested, or if you have been interested, or you're thinking about getting some help with your game, please do consider getting in touch with me and buying a session or a package of sessions, which start as low as $20 per hour for 5 sessions and go up to just $30 for 1 session. So without further ado, let's get into the leaks that I think people have, that I've physically witnessed. What I'll do, one of the methods I will use when I'm delivering a session with people, I'll ask them to record a session of themselves playing, so I can see their whole grind setup, how the screen's covered, how quickly they're making decisions, any other distractions they may have. I just want to see what happens when people are playing, exactly what's going on. And I see lots of things that kind of, they don't disturb me, but things that can be easily fixed and would absolutely lead to increasing someone's win rate without putting any extra work or study into the game, which I'm sure is something that we'd all like to do. Some nice, cheap, easy gains to help improve our win rate. The first one is watching TV or films. I've actually seen people where they've pulled up YouTube and they pulled up Netflix or something, and they've started watching something like on the side, in the corner of the screen. So they'll have like maybe 1/4 of their screen taken up by YouTube or Netflix, where they're just watching something whilst they're playing. This can't be good. If you're trying to play in competitive online poker games, like most of us are these days, because there's not that many soft games around, having a distraction of like watching something on TV whilst you're doing it is not a good thing. Now, if you're a 1 table in 2-0 recreational player, I guess there's no harm in it whatsoever. But if you're playing 2 or 4 speed poker tables, or you're trying to play anything between like 3 to 6 regular tables, and you're also taking up some of your screen with YouTube and some of your attention span with YouTube, it's absolutely 100% going to have a negative effect on your win rate. You might think, oh, it helps ease the boredom. If you're bored while you're playing, you're just not paying enough attention, or you could maybe increase your volume slightly. There's ways to reduce boredom when playing that don't include putting YouTube or Netflix or whatever it is you like you get your entertainment from. Don't be doing that, you know. Think about if you are bored when you're playing, think about adding more tables, think about paying more attention at the table and actually starting to take good notes. Many people that I work with never take any notes, but they claim they don't really have time to do it at the table or what have you, but they have time to like watch TV or films, or like go through some of the other disruptions that we're going to talk about further down. So yeah, if you are somebody who watches TV or film whilst you're playing, at least have it, at the very, very least, have it set up playing before you start. But ideally, don't have it playing at all. If you want something to like kill the silence, maybe have some music on in the background or something like that. But certainly don't just mid-grind start flicking YouTube channels or searching for things to watch on Netflix, because it just shows that you're not concentrating, it shows that you're not focused, and you're just not going to be at it, and your opponents will absolutely seize on that. Yeah, they won't know what you're doing, but they will just take advantage of the fact that you are not delivering your A game because you're too busy fucking around with Netflix or what have you. So the second one, and this has actually happened during sessions too, not just, obviously I haven't witnessed this on video, but when I've seen people like time out and sit out, they'll be like, oh yeah, that was my kid, or my wife asked me something. Where possible, try not to play if you're going to be disrupted by family on a regular basis. Yeah, we can't help things that we can't help. If you set up a session, start playing because you think everything's sorted, and then your baby wakes up, or your kid wakes up, or your wife comes home unexpectedly, or something happens unexpected, you can't help that. But if your sessions are regularly punctuated by your wife coming in and fucking nagging you about something, or your kids coming and crying because they want your attention but you're playing poker, don't do that. For starters, don't play poker when your kids want your attention, because for recreational players especially, but for everyone in general, I mean, your kids are absolutely a priority. Now, if you're a professional poker player and you're working from home, you need to say sometimes, I'm working now, I don't need the disruptions, and you only get disrupted like the rest of us do in our working lives by absolute emergencies. But if you're a recreational player and your children are up and around, then my advice is just spend time with your children. They're not young for long, and they're not children for long, and you will regret not spending time with them at the expense of poker, particularly if you're not a winning poker player. If you're losing regularly at poker and you're pushing your kids away, which I'm sure some of us have done from time to time, or not maybe push them away physically, but like kind of like ask them to go away, leave you alone or whatever while you do something, and then you lose, it's going to make you feel pretty shitty pretty quickly. And that's just not going to help your long-term poker mindset, because you're going to realise how like destructive it can be. So get your priorities right. If you've got time to play poker where your kids are all safe and sound, tucked up in bed, or they're out and about, or what have you, by all means play and enjoy the game. But if your kids are up and around, especially if they're young kids and they're wanting your attention and they're making noise and they're just being like kids generally are, just needing supervision, and don't be playing poker. It's going to affect your poker game, it's going to affect your relationship with your family, and it's going to affect your self-respect as well. For when you get down the line and you're thinking, fuck me, I just lost X amount of dollars at poker and I got annoyed with my kid. You know, who really wants that? But I've seen it happening. I've had conversations where people have told me about it, where the kid was like really playing up, they bollocked the kid, they come back, they were like frustrated because they had a row with the kid, and they come back and just spunked off a couple of buy-ins at poker. That's not acceptable on any level, and it's not something you should be doing. So plan better. Make sure you, when you do sit down to play, you have proper time to play, you're in the proper environment. Next one kind of ties in with the first one, but it's slightly different. It's social media use. I have lost count of the amount of times that randomly Skype or Twitter or Facebook has just popped up and filled the entire screen when people are playing. It's not even close to good enough. You get a notification on Facebook, it's probably somebody liking some lame post you've made, or you get someone comments on something on it. Who fucking cares? Check that after your session, check it before your session. Don't have Facebook open when you're mid-session. If you're going to come up, it's going to take over your screen. You're going to miss vital pieces of information. You might time out in a hand. You might do what my wife did once, which is misclick deep in the tournament and completely fuck up. A long time ago, before my wife and I lived together, I was still living at home, and she was playing a poker tournament, and she was fucking on Facebook at the same time. I was just sat watching a film, not giving a fuck. I found it rather amusing, to be honest with you. It wasn't a big tournament. It was a big deal to her because she had a lot of chips. But in terms of like how much money she could win, it was trivial. It wasn't a lot of money. But she got deep in this tournament, like 200 or 300 runner affair on whatever fucking site it was, and she's a fucking massive nitties, my wife. Anyway, she was playing, she wasn't in a hand, she put Facebook up, she went to click on something, the table popped to the front, and she went all in with some fucking dreadful hand. I can't remember what it was now, but she just clicked all in. Someone had raised, she clicked re-raise for all of her chips, and that was that. She bounced out of the tournament with the shittest hand ever, and she wasn't really pleased when I basically told her it was her own fault. But it was, you know, I mean, if you're balls deep in the tournament or in a cash game where, you know, you're playing for stakes that mean something to you, there's every chance you're going to make a misclick because of social media coming up. You're clicking around the page, you're liking things, you're doing whatever the fuck you're doing on all these social media sites, and then the table pops up that you're not ready for, and you either misclick fold something, or you misclick call, or even worse, you misclick go all in with shite like my wife did. Just don't give yourself a chance to do that. And we're going to tackle this slightly more in the fourth setup, because yeah, social media is important to us all. It's important to stay in touch with our friends and our family and just the world around us. I get it. I'm on social media. I enjoy using social media, and I even sometimes I'm on social media when I'm playing, but only very rarely, and usually very quickly, just to share something interesting or fun that's happened. It takes me just like a couple of seconds. But to move on to the next step now, we'll put these two together. It's because I've got a much better setup. Too many people got an inappropriate setup. They're trying to play poker on a laptop with a, 12-inch screen or a 16-inch screen. They're trying to play 4 tables. They're overlapping all over the place. It's just a fucking jumbling mess. They've got a Hold'em manager running, and then they've got Chrome running. And Chrome takes quite a lot of your resource, with like maybe 1 or 2 pages open on it. Before you know it, the computer's fucking whirring. I've talked to people. I've done Skype sessions with people where the computer fan is fucking blasting. It's because you've got too many programs running. They're just not properly set up. The machines that they're playing on aren't right, and they're only playing on one screen. If you're trying to play online poker, multiple tables on a one screen, on like a laptop with one screen, or even on a desktop with just one monitor that's maybe 15 inches or something, which lots of you guys probably are doing, it's piss poor. It's not, you're not set up to make money from poker, to like have a positive experience playing poker, especially if you're trying to, like, therefore on top of that, browse social media, which you just talked about. It's not good. If you want to take your poker seriously, even if you're a recreational player, you can still want to take it seriously. I've seen some fucking sick setups from players who aren't making money, but they just like to have a fucking nice setup. You can go on 2plus2 and check it out. Or probably some threads on Reddit, I'm not sure. Some fantastic pictures of people. They've got like 2 or 3 monitors. They've got a nice big spacious grind space. They've got a nice chair to play from. Everything, the setup's perfect. Fair enough, they can't play poker a lick, but the setup's really good. Usually it comes from people who've been in like a gaming background, or people who've just been at poker a long time and understand that it's important to have a good setup, and it really is. So you need to, if you want to play multiple tables of poker, get yourself set up right, invest in a second monitor, invest in new hardware. And I understand that's hard for a lot of you guys. A lot of you guys are playing the microstakes. You don't have a lot of money to spend on this kind of thing, but it should be a goal. Maybe make it your goal that you're going to win enough at poker to actually buy yourself a new setup, which will then allow you to make more money at poker. If you want to make your poker into like a small business, you've got to put some investment in it sometime. You can't just make it out of nothing. It's not how it works. You cannot just, you know, we're none of us Jesus here. We can't just like turn water into wine. You can't feed the 5,000. You can't basically go from having not much of a bankroll and a poor computer and just like expect to make lots and lots of money. It's not going to happen. It's super unlikely to happen unless you have a really good plan on how to make sure you do it properly and you eliminate all the leaks that we've just talked about. Move on to the last one now, which is what I've talked about many times before. You guys that have like watched a lot of my videos will be bored of this, but poor game selection. Piss poor game selection and piss poor bankroll management are probably a massive leak for way too many players. Guys come to me that they're getting absolutely annihilated at 10-0. I've seen graphs where people are down like over $1,000 at 5-0, 10-0, and they're still trying to play 5 and 10-0 off. They'll open the poker client and they'll have, I don't know, $187 or $230 or whatever. It just kept topping up. Trying to play in games that you have yet to prove that you can beat off a 20 buy-in bankroll is not going to ever help you progress at poker. I've seen so many guys, you got these like zoom graphs and these like fast forward graphs, they're getting fucking crushed. And they just continue playing them. And I'm like, what are you doing? You need to stop doing this now. You need to get better at poker, but you also need to give yourself a chance to win by finding some better games to play in. Whether that will be in the UK, whether that will be on Sky, whether in the EU it will be more Unibet. Which in the US it'd be more global poker. Canada, there's some, like, I think pretty sure there's some provincial sites in Canada that are really soft. There are soft options out there, not for everybody maybe. For most players, there are softer options, but they want to take the easy option. And it's something I've done myself lately, which is kind of why I put this in at the end. They want to take the easy option of just like smashing volume to pieces in fast forward games, and I was one myself very recently. These busy fools, they want to put in like, oh, shit, I only got so much time to play, so I'm going to fucking play 1,000 hands per hour so I can still play my 12,000 hands per week that I'm getting crushed at. And it's like, it's not good. I played 40,000 hands recently on PokerStars. I've made money. I've made like $200 and something at just doing 10-0, just to see exactly, like, try to put myself in a position of a hardcore grinder. And it's not fucking fun. There's nothing recreational about it. You burn out really quickly. It's dull. The games are hard. The variance is high. And that's coming from myself, who's like a long-term winning player at stakes higher than the ones I was grinding in. So guys that haven't got a long history of beating those games, or have got no history of beating those games, they're just really, it's just a huge act of like poker self-harm to continue playing in those games and just like trying to fucking drive something and try to like basically force a round peg into a square hole, or a square peg into a round hole, however the saying goes. Don't do that. Take it easy on yourself. Set more like realistic goals. Plan to like downsize volume. Plan to downsize in the limits you're playing. Or if you don't want to move down in limits, find softer games on other sites where you can play those limits, where you've got a better chance of winning. Fair enough, you might have reduced volume, but you'll eventually start getting like the positive vibe from winning, and it might allow you to move up. Sometimes like moving back from playing 1,000 hands of 10NL Zoom into playing 200 hands per hour of 10NL on Sky, you might think that's a big step back. But if you go from losing, say, 2 blinds 100 at 1,000 hands an hour, so you go from losing, say, $2 to $2.50 an hour to actually winning maybe, who knows, £2 an hour or something like that, you've actually made a huge amount of progress. And all of a sudden, you've got a plan, you've got a way of moving forward with poker, you've got a way of moving up in stakes eventually. So yeah, really think very hard about your game selection. Think about, what am I doing when I'm trying to play? What am I trying to achieve? If I'm a long-term break-even or losing player, why am I still playing in the games that I'm playing in? Why am I not doing something about it? So yeah, that's like some of the common leaks. If you've got any more leaks that I haven't covered here, or anything that you think might be a leak, please leave it in the comments below, and we can maybe do another video about it or discuss it in the comments. But I just thought it was a video worth making because like I said, I've talked to a couple of new students lately, and some of these guys had these leaks. Literally, I've physically seen them with my own eyes and heard them with my own ears in the last 3 or 4 weeks. And I just think if these guys are doing it, there must be tons more that are doing it too. And it's just a really easy way to increase your hourly rate, to increase your win rate straight away. Stop watching TVs and film when you're playing. If you want to watch it, get it set up before you start. Make sure that you're going to have less disruptions. Limit the disruptions when you're playing. Don't start sessions when there's a high chance that you're going to have somebody wanting your attention. Social media, you close it before you start playing. It's not going anywhere. Anyone that's liked a comment or anyone that likes something you've posted, it'll still be there when you finish your session. Get your setup sorted. If you can afford to, buy a better laptop, buy a better desktop, get a second monitor, do something like that. Just improve your setup, get a better chair. Just be more professional in how you're going to approach it. I mean, your poker is technically, it's like a small business. It might not be a very good small business now, but it's one that's got potential to grow. But if you want it to grow, you're going to have to invest in it like any other small business. So you need to invest in yourself. And finally, poor game selection. You might have like a really good, you might be one of the best players around, but if you put yourself in piss poor games all the time, you're still going to be a losing player. So don't do that. Put yourself in games where you think, yeah, I definitely have edge in it. If you've been losing at Zoom for 100,000 hands at 3 blinds 100, chances are you don't beat that particular game. And continuing to grind it, just hoping things are going to change, isn't going to cut the mustard. You need to find more appropriate games for yourself, put yourself in them, start making money, start building your bankroll, so you can invest in yourself, like we talked about in the previous tip. So you can invest in yourself, you can spend money on your game, and you can maybe start building something for the future. This video's now been longer than I expected it to be, at nearly 20 minutes, but I hope it's resonated with some of you guys, and I hope you got something from it. We'll leave it there for now. Don't forget, if you got this far and you like the sort of things I'm talking about, please do consider getting in touch with me for some coaching or mentoring, because a lot of the stuff we talked about today is a lot of the stuff I talk about in my sessions. It's not just about the technical act of playing poker. There's so much more goes into playing poker than just figuring out good 3-bet, 4-bet, 5-betting ranges. There's so much more to the game than that. And if you're not getting a lot of these things wrong from jump, then you're probably never going to be a winning player. So yeah, please get in touch if you'd like to talk to me some more about helping you improve your poker game. Bye for now.